The envelope trembled in Marcus Webb's calloused hands as he read the eviction notice for the third time. 30 days. That's all he had to find, 2 months back rent plus next month's payment, or his daughter Emma would be sleeping. In their decade-old Honda, he pressed his palms against his eyes, refusing to let the tears fall. Emma couldn't see him break. Not again. Not after everything she'd already lost when her mother walked out 2 years ago, leaving nothing but a note on the kitchen counter and a 7-year-old girl who still asked when Mommy was coming home. Marcus had always believed that hard work and integrity would be enough. He'd believed it when he worked double shifts at the packaging plant, believed it through every rejected job application, and believed it even when the plant closed down and scattered his coworkers like autumn leaves. But belief didn't pay rent. Belief didn't buy Emma's asthma medication or replace her shoes when the soles wore through. At 34 years old, Marcus Webb was learning that sometimes belief wasn't enough. The job posting had appeared on his phone screen at 11 p.m., glowing like a cruel joke in the darkness of their cramped apartment. Night security guard needed. Graveyard shift. Whitmore Estate. Must be available immediately. No prior experience necessary. The pay was barely above minimum wage, but it was something. The location made his stomach turn. Everyone in town knew about the Whitmore Estate, that sprawling Gothic mansion on the hill, where old man Whitmore had lived, alone for decades after his family died in that terrible accident. The same estate where 3 security guards had quit in the past month, citing strange noises, moving shadows, and an overwhelming sense of dread. Marcus didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in unpaid bills and empty refrigerators, and the sound of his daughter's breathing through her nebulizer at 3 in the morning. He believed in doing whatever it took. Mrs. Chen from apartment 3B agreed to watch Emma for $20 a night. Money Marcus couldn't afford, but had no choice but to spend. On his first night, he kissed his daughter's forehead as she slept, her small chest rising and falling, her favorite stuffed rabbit clutched against her cheek. "I'll be back before you wake up." "Sweetheart," he whispered, though she couldn't hear him. The Whitmore Estate loomed against the October sky like something from a nightmare. Marcus's Honda coughed and sputtered up the long driveway, past overgrown gardens where marble statues stood sentinel among the weeds. The house itself was magnificent and terrifying, all towering spires and dark windows that seemed to watch his approach. A lawyer had met him at the gate with keys and instructions. "Walk the perimeter every hour, check all entry points. Don't disturb Mr. Whitmore, who resided in the East Wing, and under no circumstances enter the locked rooms on the 3rd floor." The first 3 nights were quiet, almost boring. Marcus walked his rounds with a heavy flashlight, his footsteps echoing through empty hallways lined with portraits of stern-faced Whitmores from generations past. He saw no ghosts, heard no mysterious sounds. What he did hear on the 4th night changed everything. It was 2 in the morning when Marcus heard it. A sound so soft he almost missed it beneath the October wind rattling the windows, crying, not the wailing of spirits or the theatrical moaning his imagination might have conjured, but genuine heartbroken weeping, human weeping. It was coming from behind a door marked private in the East Wing. Every instinct told Marcus to walk away. He wasn't paid to investigate. He was paid to patrol and ignore. But Marcus had spent 2 years learning to recognize the sound of hopeless crying. He'd heard it from Emma's room when she thought he was asleep. He'd heard it from his own throat in the shower where she couldn't hear. He knocked, gently. The crying stopped abruptly. Long silence. Then a voice, male and elderly, rough from disuse. "Go away." "Are you all right, sir?" Marcus asked the door. "I said go away. You're paid to walk, not to bother me." Marcus should have listened. Instead, he said, "I'm also paid to make sure everyone here is safe. That includes you, Mr. Whitmore." Another long silence. Then, "The door's unlocked." It's always been unlocked. Marcus pushed open the door to find himself in a library that had clearly been converted into living quarters. Books lined every wall from floor to ceiling, but it was the man in the wheelchair who captured his attention. Theodore Whitmore was nothing like the intimidating billionaire Marcus had imagined. He was small, shrunken with age, his expensive suit hanging loose on his frame. But his eyes were sharp, intelligent, and filled with an ocean of pain. "You're not supposed to be here," Whitmore said, but there was no anger in it. "I heard you crying, sir." And you thought what? That you could help? The old man's laugh was bitter. No one can help. Not with this. He gestured to a silver frame on the table beside him, and Marcus saw the photograph, a beautiful woman and 2 children, frozen forever in a moment of happiness. Today would have been my granddaughter's 40th birthday, Whitmore said quietly. She was 8 when they died. My daughter was driving home from her birthday party. A drunk driver crossed the median. I wasn't there. I was closing a business deal in Tokyo. I wasn't there. Marcus understood immediately. He recognized the specific weight of survivor's guilt, the torture of replaying moments that couldn't be changed. Without thinking, he pulled up a chair and sat down. I understand, he said simply. Whitmore's eyes flashed. How could you possibly understand? Because every day I wonder if I worked harder. If I'd been a better husband, maybe my wife wouldn't have left. Maybe my daughter wouldn't have to grow up without a mother. Maybe I could give her the life she deserves instead of... Marcus's voice broke. Instead of barely hanging on? Something shifted in Whitmore's face. You have a daughter? For the next 3 hours, Marcus talked. He told this stranger about Emma's laugh, about how she wanted to be a veterinarian, about her collection of smooth stones from the park, about her mother leaving, about the eviction notice, and the jobs that fell through and the constant terror of not being enough. And Whitmore listened. Then slowly he began to talk too. He talked about his family, about 40 years of loneliness, about building an empire that meant nothing without anyone to share it with, about the guilt that ate at him like acid, about pushing everyone away until even his household staff communicated through lawyers. He talked about wanting to die but being too afraid, about the strange comfort of having someone simply sit with him in his grief. When dawn began to paint the windows gold, Whitmore wheeled himself to his desk and wrote something on a piece of paper. He handed it to Marcus. What's this? Marcus asked, looking at what appeared to be a phone number. Call that number tomorrow. Ask for Helen in HR. There's a position available in my company's logistics department. Good pay, benefits, reasonable hours. She'll be expecting you. Marcus stared at the paper, then at Whitmore. Sir, I can't accept charity. It's not charity, Whitmore said firmly. I'm a businessman, Mr. Webb. I recognize value when I see it. You showed me more humanity in one night than most people have shown me in decades. That kind of character is rare. I want it in my company. He paused. Besides, you'll still be working. I'm not paying you to do nothing. I'm paying you for what you can do. Marcus's throat tightened. I don't know what to say. Say you'll come back tomorrow night, same time. Bring a chess set if you know how to play. Mine disappeared years ago. The old man's face softened. It's been a long time since anyone sat with me like that. Like I was just a person, not a name or a bank account. Marcus came back the next night, and the night after that. During the days he started his new position, a job that paid enough to catch up on rent and buy Emma new shoes and refill her medications without choosing, between them and groceries. During the nights, he sat with Theodore Whitmore and they talked. About life and loss and loneliness and hope. About daughters and granddaughters, and the weight of grief that never fully lifts, but sometimes, with help, becomes bearable. 3 months later, on a bright January morning, Marcus answered his door to find Theodore Whitmore standing there, no longer in a wheelchair, leaning on a cane but standing, and beside him was a woman in a professional suit holding a folder. Mr. Webb, Whitmore said with a smile that transformed his entire face, I'd like you to meet Sarah Chen, director of my charitable foundation. We've been discussing a new initiative to help single parents in crisis, and we need someone to run it, someone who understands what it's like. Someone with character. Emma peeked out from behind Marcus's leg, curious about the visitors. Whitmore's face softened immediately. And you must be Emma. Your father talks about you. Constantly. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. I hope you don't mind, but I took the liberty of getting you a birthday present. Your father mentioned you loved rocks, and I happen to have a rather extensive mineral collection gathering dust. Inside the box was a beautiful geode, split open to reveal amethyst crystals that caught the morning light like frozen stars. Emma's eyes went wide. It's beautiful, she breathed. Marcus felt tears streaming down his face. Not tears of despair this time, but of overwhelming gratitude. He'd taken a job no one wanted because he had no choice. He'd knocked on a door he should have ignored because he couldn't stand by while someone suffered. And somehow, through simple human kindness, through seeing another person's pain and sitting with them in it, everything had changed. Whitmore met his eyes. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For knocking. For staying. For reminding me why life matters." Marcus shook his head, wiping his eyes. "Thank you for opening the door." As Emma explored her geode, turning it this way and that in the sunlight, Marcus realized that his daughter was learning the most important lesson he could teach her. That kindness matters. That seeing and being seen matters. That the simple act of showing up for another human being can transform everything. Not because of money or power, but because of connection. Because of choosing humanity over fear. Because of refusing to walk past someone else's pain even when you're drowning in your own. In the end, Marcus Webb had taken a job no one wanted and found what everyone needs. Proof that we're never as alone as we think. That bridges can be built across any divide, and that sometimes the greatest fortune isn't found in bank accounts but in the simple, profound miracle of two people seeing each other's humanity and refusing to look away.